Hey everyone, this is LordDavon from the ECF forums, and today I am going to bring you the Vision eGo Stardust. Ta-da, ta-da. Now, this is a CE2 Cartomizer from gotvapes.com. It is a hassle-free CE2 Cartomizer, which, well, when you hear Cartomizer, they don't really go hand in hand with hassle-free. So what makes this hassle-free? Well, unlike something like the Fleximizer, which is my all-time favorite CE2 Cartomizer, it comes with a plug and then a center O-ring or top O-ring and then a plug on top of the you gotta pull it out, you gotta wick them, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Sometimes they can be crazy. I don't wick them, but I do pull out 3 things from it when I first get it, then I have to put one back in. They're not easy to fill. They don't dump out pretty easy either because, you know, it's a pretty tight fit around the cup, and well, Flexmizers can get kind of crazy. They vape like crazy though, which is why I like CE2s. Good flavor. They vape with lots of vapor. You can turn them up to get some extra heat. You can turn them down when you want things cooler. They just work well, and that's really important to me, to have something that works well. So when I received this in the mail, I didn't know what to think. Well, I have spent pretty close to a week with the eGo Stardust, and the one thing I could tell you is these things rock. If anything called for a variable voltage eGo, these things do. Now, this one's my caramel cream, I think. This is an eGo. Screws in, and it looks like it belongs. It's actually got a cool little look to it. Now, I don't vape straight out, and these things kind of look like they're designed for that, but you don't really need to. I do vape at an angle. When I put my eGo down, I put it down straight up and down. I have been laying these down though, because you can, and really it helps wick it better. The fact remains that these things just work pretty well. Now, I always have a ceiling fan up so I don't get that big billow of vapor that everybody is expecting when I use something, when I review it, because I'm in Florida. But it doesn't matter. So what's this thing like on a 3.7 volt, and this thing actually registers about 3.5. eGo. Pretty well. I love this one. It's good. Now, you can also use them on your favorite variable voltage. This is my Infinity. This is the original Infinity. It's about 4 volts. What's it at? Let me see. I'm going to crank it all the way down, bring it up to, it's about 4 volts. It's got a little thumb wheel. I got little markings on it to tell me where 4.4 is, 5.5. Starts off at 3.3, goes up to 6.6. Yes, I let it go out my nose. Okay, so it vapes really well. But let's talk about complication, filling, cleaning, things like that. That's where this thing is, you know, can be a little bit more complicated when you're using it. Let's take this one off. This one is Taste of Heaven. I've actually got the bottle open over here. Now I'm going to unscrew it. And I'm going to pull cap off, which also is the tip. I'm going to pour the juice back into the bottle, so I don't waste anything. Alright, now I've got an empty Stardust, which is just like when you unscrew it, pull it off when you first get it. Now, I'm going to clean it. I've got this little bowl of water, what I usually soak things in when they need to be soaked. I'll put a little bit of water in there. It's, you know, got some water in there. And I'm going to do this. Shake, 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 shake. And then I'm going to flick the water out. Nothing has to be massive. Now I get it a little bit clean because I don't like moving stuff around. But now that I've got one good flick, I'm going to take this cup cap, and if you can see it, the cup cap's at the very top. It's a little condom with a metal cap at the top, and I'm just going to grab the edge. I'm going to pull that out. Not all the way out of the tube, but just pull it out. I believe there's a little elastic kind of rubbery gasket thing sitting there on the outside that helps keep that in. Some people in the forums complain that that has come out. I don't think that affects performance of it, but it does make it easier for you to pull that right out, which makes it harder to put back in. Now that it's out, I'm going to put some more water in here. Alright, and I'm going to shake it up. Now my cup cap is still sitting at the top. I have exposed where the wicks are. Let me see if I can show you that. Yep, I've exposed where the wicks are. You can see the little slits all the way up from here to here. And I'm just getting water in there. Now I'm going to flick it out, flick, 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 flick. Do it again a third time just to make sure it's clean. Shake it really well. Now if you use thick juices, you will probably have to do this 5, 6, 7 times. It's not that big a deal. Good flick of the wrist, like you're shaking down a thermometer. Oh, yeah. When you're my age, that's like shaking at a thermometer. I guess some of the younger ones have always had digital, some of you younger viewers, so yes, I'm old. Okay, so now that I've done this and I've got it, I'm going to do some dry burns. I'm going to find my eGo, which is already actually being used by caramel cream. Oops. I'm going to pop this bugger on here, and I'm going to hold it down for some bursts. Give it a good shake first. Burst. Release it. Wait a few seconds. Burst. Trying to find a cap to one of my bottles first. And you'll see it steam up in there. I'll give it a little blow, not with my thumb on the button, because you will hurt the coil by doing that. It gets really hot and spread, and that's just not good for the coil. I found it. Alright, so hit the button again. And give it a rest. Button. Give it a rest. Now, I'm going to look at it. Now you can see in those slits in the side, get rid of some of the glare here. There we go. You'll start seeing that little red from the coil. There it is. Now, you'll also be able to see it through the top. It's hard to aim. I don't know if you can see that. I can. Now there's a little metal piece up at the top. And that little metal piece is a thermal between the condom and the tube. So it does come up with the cup cap. It's at the very top of the cap. So when you push this back down, be careful not to mess with it too much. Never had too much of a problem with it. Once you're done with your dry burning and you're comfortable to where it's at, you put the cup cap back down. Give it another flick. It's good. Alright, now we are ready to pour some juice in. Now there's little lines like on a syringe that tell you where to fill it to and what full is from empty. It's a nice little gauge, but really it's to about the wicks. Now we've cleaned it. Now how often have I had to clean it? Well, this is the second time in a week that this one has been cleaned, and I only did it because I was changing flavors. This one hasn't been used. And this one I cleaned twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, just to see how much abuse these things can take. Have I had a need to change or clean them out? I'm pretty sure after a few days of usage you'll probably want to clean these. They are disposable, you can chuck them, but you know, it's my hard-earned money. You'll probably want to give it a quick cleaning if you are changing out juices. Changing flavors so you don't have a mix-up. They do drain or empty pretty well. A little bit of water, shake, dump it, and then put your new juice in. I don't think you have to dry burn it every single time. Now, these things vape fantastic. I like them on a variable voltage. I wish all my variable voltage eGos did not die because I had started off using it. They start off best at 3.2 volts. Once they break in, use 3.7 or 4.2, dependent on your juice, and they just work fantastic. Now this one's been cleaned. It's going to take a few puffs that are not going to be so beautiful, and then after that, it'll work. They don't leak. There's no juice coming out of here. Nothing hitting my hand. They work great. They have excellent flavor. They have about everything you need, and they do look really, really cool on an eGo. That's what they're designed for, and they look like they're supposed to be there. It is a really nice device. I don't see how you could not enjoy this. It vapes like a Fluxomizer. I am going to say that again. It vapes like a Fluxomizer, but it's easy to use. Unscrew it, pour in your juice, put it back on. Sure, it's only 1.6 milliliter, but you can only fill about 1.4 in here, and so what? You got a bottle of it. Unscrew, fill, put it back on. You can do it in the car. It's not that difficult. This thing is really, really cool. This is the new standard for a CE2. No, yes, it's not my Map Tank E4. It does do a better job than this, but it's a whole lot more hassle than this is. This is what I'd recommend for anybody who just doesn't want a hassle when they vape. It vapes well on an eGo, a standard 3.7. It vapes great on a variable voltage. You're not going to take these to huge heights. I think it's 2.0 to 2.2 ohm, but it works great, and that's what we're looking for. So if you want something that's going to give you a wow factor, this is probably going to give you that wow factor because it works better than probably anything many of us have ever used. This is the eGo Stardust, I guess a Vision eGo Stardust from gotvapes.com. I'm LordDavon. You really need to try this. It is for me, it may not be for you, but to me this is one of the best, easiest CE2s that I have ever used. You need to try it for yourself. That being said, this is LordDavon. I'm signing off.